It may come as a surprise to you, but I actually haven't seen The Thing from 1985 until now. In 2008, I started watching a lot more movies because I started with quarantine when I was at work, and after work, I just wanted to watch a movie since my mom couldn't pick me up yet. And I decided to just sit down, and I realized that horror movies aren't really that scary. I just had this idea built up in my head of what fear was, and ultimately ended up just, obviously costing me a lot of time in watching movies. And that has changed considerably over the last 5 years. I have watched a lot more movies, and I realized just how much I love watching movies and enjoying the medium. And now I'm starting to revisit the classics. That's why I'm making one of my first movies, The Thing. I have heard that it is a horror classic, and I have heard that it is tremendous. Even now, almost 40 years later, it absolutely holds up. So I put that to the test because my big thing is I don't have nostalgia glasses. I don't have that connection with these movies. I walked into The Thing only knowing a little bit of the premise that it is a base in Antarctica that gets infiltrated by the Thing, and we don't know what the Thing is. Before we move on, if you haven't seen the movie, obviously spoilers ahead, but if you have seen the movie, this is my first experience with it. As the movie begins, we see a dog running towards a base, and for some reason, people in a helicopter are trying to shoot it down. Already, I'm not a fan of these people because they're trying to shoot down animals, and that's just not cool, dog. Dogs are the best. They're literally our best friends. Don't do that to dogs. Dog gets saved by running into another base, which ends up being the Americans' base, and we find out that these other two guys are Norwegian. This is where everything kind of just starts colliding. We figure out as they take the dog in that they go investigate the other base, and they see some weird stuff going on. Like there was some experiments being done. There was maybe like a crash landing. When they come back, we see one of the shots being the dog going into a room with a silhouette, and the silhouette is the important part because we don't know who that is. This was actually the first infection because when they come back, the dog gets put into the kennel, and then the dog just transforms into this ugly freaking thing, which I say that with love because I'm just going to put this out there right now. This movie is a practical effects masterpiece. For it being a 1985 movie, and for the effects that they managed to pull off, how incredible these grotesque creatures look, it is truly up there with The Fly as one of my favorite. I'm gonna put it as a body horror movie, even though I know it's like a cosmic horror because of aliens and stuff. The way that they managed to distort all of these things that the Thing was trying to emulate was just sensational, man. Not just the dog looking weird as hell, but also later on, whenever the Thing starts taking over humans, the floating head thing that comes out of the chest. Like, man, this thing truly was a ride to experience for the first time, and I can only imagine what it was like watching this movie in theaters with those people experiencing that kind of grotesque horror for the very first time. Another note that I will give to this movie, the two jump scares that happened were fantastic because nowadays you hear the score, you hear the music kind of start to build up, or maybe there's been enough tropes now that all seasoned horror movie watchers know what to expect coming from certain angles and everything. The way that the defibrillator goes through the dude and then his chest just freaking opens and it starts biting down, and like, I know I'm hopping all over the place. It's just sensational, man. You can see why this movie has stood the test of time. You can see why this movie is so beloved 40 years later, and people still get excited for you when you say that you're about to watch it for the first time. And if they're good people, they're not going to spoil it for you, even with spoilers. I guess you could spoil that Blair was the Thing the entire time, like later towards the end. That would ruin the tension. So I like the fact that I only knew that the dog was the Thing beforehand. Honestly, the creatures are grotesque. The story is tense as hell. The score, I now know where that da comes from. Man, if you have not seen this movie, only reason on my letterbox that I got a 4.5 is because my 5 stars are movies that changed me or altered my brain chemistry fundamentally, and those are like really hard to come by. 4.5 is as good as it gets for me, and I'm still calling this movie an incredible masterpiece, not just for the acting, not just for the story of distrust, the paranoia that you get from like, who can I trust? Who is the Thing? We don't know. Even the person that we thought we could trust to some degree, which was Blair, even after his freak out, he ends up being the Thing the entire freaking time. Man, this movie is fantastic. I would love to see theories on it, and I would truly love to just hear what people have to say. So drop your favorite theories down below in the comments. Let me know great behind the scenes stuff that you may not know about. I would love to know if the cast and crew were told to act different ways. to maybe alter a scene how it went. Same for Curry Barker with Obsession. Apparently, there were some scenes where Indy was told to act differently to give us different ideas whether she liked Bear or not and leave it ambiguous. This movie was fantastic in leaving a lot of things ambiguous. Even the ending, we don't know if they survived as humans. I love theories. I love talking about movies. So feel free in the comments below to let me know what you guys thought of the movie. Clearly, you guys can see that I absolutely love this movie. We all have our own timelines, so I'm okay coming into this party 40 years late because people are still talking about it 40 years later, and it's a masterpiece for a reason. Let me know what the next movie you would love to see me cover on here. I've got Ghostbusters in the works. I've got Godfather. I've got Back to the Future coming soon, maybe. But there's a lot of classic movies that I have absolutely missed. So I want to watch everything that I can and form my own opinions again with the nostalgia glasses being completely off. For the Mitch Retrospective, this is Kirby Carry On, and we'll see you on the next one.